I'm in the way. I'm going to get this microphone in first. Out of the way, my ass.
Okay.
Next selection, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers' first-round selection, Joe Greene, Greene, defensive tackle, North Texas State.
I was depressed. I was just depressed. I did not want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler because I knew of the record.
In 36 years of existence, the Pittsburgh Steelers had played in just one playoff game and lost it. Entering 1969, there was a new head coach in charge who had just bet the house on a kid from Texas who was anything but a household name.
The day after the draft, the headlines in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Joe Who with a question mark. Yeah.
If you understand the context of the time, people expected that the Steelers probably drafted another no-name who was no good.
I'd never heard of Joe Greene. I'd never actually heard of North Texas State. I was just kind of shocked that, oh, here we go, another high draft choice that's not going to work out.
After a brief holdout, Greene reported to camp, where skeptical veterans waited to test the rookie's mettle.
They were trying to kill me.
Ray Mansfield was the Steelers center, a really tough guy. Ray said, I'm going to show this rookie what the NFL is all about. Ray fired out. Joe took him and just threw him up in the air. I mean, he was just gone. And it crushed the running back, and we were all like, oh my God, did you see that? We were huge fans, all of that fast.
Joe Greene, the Defensive Rookie of the Year. To the Steelers, he's the dawn of a new era.
You know, you go back to the early films, he was so much better than a lot of the guys here. He was so much better. It seemed like he was a man on an island.
Despite Greene's heroics, Pittsburgh went 1-13 his rookie year, the first of 3 consecutive losing seasons.
Those years were some tough years. We were miserable, we were terrible. After some of the losses we had, man, he wasn't the most controllable person.
We're playing in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia has the ball. And if they can make a first down, the game's over. They made it. They made the first down. And he went up, took the football, and threw it in the stands. And I said to my father, this guy's special. If he's that intense, if he's going to do something like that, we got a guy that we want.
Hey, Cleveland, how you like us now?
He didn't like the name Mean Joe Greene, as we well know. It just was a moniker that was placed upon him.
Nice payback. Nice.
But he kind of lived up to it. And there was a kind of a fear factor. You just did not get on the wrong side of Joe.
Some people ask that question, what does Joe really mean? Yeah, that was the perfect name for him. He hated to lose. That was part of his demeanor. He's here to win. He's here to beat that guy across from him, and he's not going to be nice about it.
Greene's ire was not confined solely to his opponents.
I used to raise heck with those officials. I had a tendency to bristle at authority for whatever reason. It was always a source of irritation and anger when you got held, because I thought it was cheating.
People had to hold Joe. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, and that's the way Joe felt.
Joe would give you a warning if he thought you were doing something wrong. And if you didn't take his warning, then Joe would become a vigilante. And deserved of the name Mean Joe Greene while he played football.
You got to remember, too, that was a different era. It would have been very interesting to see how Joe would have reacted to cable TV and talk radio today.
Defense, personal foul, grabbing the face mask.
Joe could get very emotional. And when Joe got emotional, you had to stand back a little bit.
They're going to hit Joe Greene with another quick 15. Boy, there's a fast 30 yards.
So where did all this dirt go that you kicked? I mean, you usually have to...
Baseball players do it all the time. I saw what's this guy manager? Earl Weaver, we pile up dirt on the on home plate. It was unintentional. It was just a reaction.
And when I look back and I think about it, it was being disruptive and belligerent. I don't know how many other teams would have tolerated my antics.
If any other player had acted that way, except for Joe Greene, Coach Noel would have cut him. But Joe Greene, he could see that this is a guy that can turn things around.
In 1972 and 73, the Steelers made the playoffs, only to fall short of the Super Bowl both times.
I reached, well, I'd call it a breaking point in 74. That's when I thought, it's not going to happen here.
Greene's frustration boiled over after a late season loss to the Oilers.
Our offense didn't do a thing that day. First day we came back to practice. I went to my locker, took out what I thought was necessary, and I was leaving.
I was surprised, I must admit that, and thought, Joe's letting his emotions get in the way.
I was quitting. Quitting, how about that? That's a bad word, quit. But that's what I was doing, and as I was taking those steps, I was saying, somebody, please stop me. Lionel Taylor, our receiver coach, he said, hold up a minute. He sat down in the car and we talked. I don't know what we talked about. But anyway, I was glad we talked. Because I went back. And that's when it started.
6 weeks after nearly quitting the team, Greene led Pittsburgh to its first Super Bowl. The Steelers' defense would hold the Vikings' offense scoreless and allow just 17 yards rushing.
Intercepted by Joe Greene. And Greene couldn't be happier, I don't think.
Number one! Walking amongst the guys, my head was this big. It felt that way. To be a Steeler and wear the black and gold, yeah, it was special. And I think the journey is what made it so sweet. All the 13 losses and the 1 in 13 was in my head, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, SOS, same old Steelers, and golly, all of that stuff. That's what made that one so special, because it was the first, and it brought Pittsburgh into the picture of football teams in the National Football League that, okay, you got to deal with us now.